Good morning students and welcome to our YouTube channel Gnan Nursery Models. So in the previous video we have just started a new chapter, that is chapter number 2, adaptations in animals and plants. In that we have seen first of all in the previous video that what is adaptation. In that I have just given you some of the example, which example of are human only. So in that I have just tell you that if someone is living in Gujarat, means I am just taking my example only, that if I am living in Sihor in Gujarat, then if I have to just go to the Jammu Kashmir or in any of the north village in the north side, okay, then where there is very cold and here the temperature is around 35 to 45 degree averagely temperature is there, but in the north side the average temperature is around 15 degree or 20 degree. So where there is more cold and 15-20 degree here in Sihor, it is when it is in winter, but the normal day temperature is about 15 to 25 degree over there. So what happens when I just go or move from this Gujarat to the Jammu Kashmir? What happens? When I just go, I will feel cold. Okay students, so what happens? I can't adapt some of the things over there. First of all, it is what? It is the winter which is there over here, the coldness of that area, the atmosphere, the humidity, what the things are there in that area. I can't adapt that. So in that way there are some of the adaptations in the animals and plants. That in animals, if I say that we have seen some of the animals, but I am just giving some other example, then in animals there are some of the species which just live in the very rainforest only, okay, where there is more rain in the rainforest, okay. But some of the area, if I just say about the camel, then we can see that camel is living in the desert. Why? Because there are some of the adaptations in camel that it can live over there. So here let us see what we have seen in the previous video, that was animals and plants are found in all kinds of the environments and in all kinds of the climatic regions, on land and in water. Over thousands of years they have developed certain features that enables them to live in their environment. In fact, the basic principle of nature is survival of the fittest. To survive, animals and plants have to be fit and be able to adapt themselves to their surrounding. Some adaptation features in animals are as follows. So the first one was of the shun. What was of it? They just secrete a liquid from them, from which they just can the enemy can just go away from them. So that was defensive mechanism as seen in the shun, which spits a foul smelling liquid to chase away the enemies. They just secretes a liquid from which which enemy is there, they just go far away from them, okay. Then after second one, special body parts such as a hedgehog's bristles which is used to defend itself. Here the picture is given, okay students. In that you can see that how the long straight this things is there. When thus the enemy just come to eat that, then it just goes straight on it and the enemy cannot eat them. Then after, animals that prey on or hunt other animals such as lion, tiger and leopard have a sharp teeth and claws. Here now the animals which hunt the other animals, what they have sharp teeth and claws. And the animal which is to be hunted like cow, buffalo, deer and that all, okay, they have horns, means shingra. They have horn to protect themselves, okay. And the fourth one, camouflage. The stoat is usually reddish brown in color But in the northern latitude where it is snows during winter, the stoat has a snowy white coat that blends with the background. This is called the camouflage, a type of adaptation. Here, talking about the camouflage, that what is camouflage? It is a type of adaptation which just you can see in the, they have just given the example of the stoat which is usually reddish brown in color, but in the northern latitude where there is cold, in the snow, when there is snow, okay, so snow is white, they just have body just adapt a food in their body. So what happens, they just match with the color of the snow, so they can be protect themselves, so they can't just highlight over the enemies. Okay, now moving further, up to here we have seen in the previous video. Okay students, now moving further, here it is chameleons change their color according to their background. It is a kind of camouflage that helps them to hide from the predators. The mosaic frog also merged into its background. The striped zebra merged with the long savanna grass. The stick insect looked like a stick, so birds do not try to eat it. Okay, so here are some of the camouflage adaptations. Means chameleon, they have just taken the example of chameleon which just match with the background, and also a frog and other things, stick insect and that all. Now here, moving forward, that is aquatic animals. Now moving towards the aquatic animals. So in the aquatic animals, what are some of the adaptations? Let us see by other animals. Here in the aquatic animals, aquatic animals, aquatic animals. So here, first of all, what are aquatic animals, which we have just seen in the previous chapter. Okay, so what happens? What are, so first of all, aquatic animals? The animals which which live in water, they are known as the aquatic animals. Here I am just writing lives in water, they are known as the aquatic animals. Then after here they have just taken the first one, that is fish. So in fish, let us see some of the adaptations. So fish, here talking about the fish. So we all know that some of the adaptations are there in the fish, yes or no? So here let us see first the first one, that is the fish has a boat shaped body that enables it to move through water easily. First of all, talking about the body of the fish. Okay, so here usually the fish have body. What body they have? I am just drawing. Here, this is like a structure of fish or a body you can see over here. Okay, so this is the body structure of the fish. So why it is like this? It is like a boat structure. Okay, so what happens? They can move easily in the water. So they have a body like this. Okay, now first here writing about the fish, that the first adaptation, that is the fish has a boat shaped body that enables it to move through water easily. As we have seen here, I have just drawn the structure of the fish, that they have a boat-like structure. So why? Because they can move easily in the water. The second thing, they have gills. Okay, they have gills. Here I am just first writing that adaptation. Second adaptation, that is, it has gills through which it breathes. Okay, it has gills through which it breathes. Okay, so here, what are first of all gills? See here, I am again drawing the structure of the fish, but the small one. So here, the gills are present over here. So what the gills do is, in water, what is the molecular formula of water? First of all, that is H2O. So here, all the living thing needs oxygen to breathe. Okay, but in water there is oxygen, but how the fish can breathe in the water? So here you can see there is hydrogen and here it is oxygen. Okay, here it is hydrogen and here it is oxygen. So what they just do is, they from the mouth, they just inhale the water. They just inhale, the fish inhales the water, and the function of gills is what? They just absorb the oxygen from the water. Okay, they just absorb the oxygen from the water. The function of gills is that. So there the fish can breathe. That is, it has gills through which it breathes. Okay students, now moving further, the third point. Third point, it can stay underwater. It can stay underwater and breathe the oxygen dissolve in water. Okay, here, as I have told in this point, it can stay underwater and breathe the oxygen dissolved in water. Okay, they can just breathe the oxygen from the water. Why? Because the molecular formula of water is H2O, in which the hydrogen and oxygen are there, so from that they just take in the oxygen. Okay students, now moving forward, the fourth one, that is its fins help fish to swim, and the tail fin helps it to change direction. Okay, change direction. Here the fourth point, or the fourth adaptation of the fish, that is it has fins, helps fish to swim, means the fins means what? First of all, here if I just drew a fish, a small fish, so here in the fish you can have seen here a wing like structure. So these are the fins with which they swing. Okay, and the tail, here tail fin, with the help of them they just change the direction. Okay, we have seen any of the boat or any of the steam, that what they have here they have a fan, and there is a changing direction thing, okay, from which it can change direction. In fish also it is like that. Okay students, so these are the four adaptations of the fish. Let us see again one by one. The first one, that is the fish have a boat like structure. With why they have a boat like structure? So they can easily move in the water. The second point, it has gills through which it breathes. So the second point is what? They have gills from which they just breathe. How they just breathe? I have just tell you that the gills just absorb the oxygen which is present in the water, and they just supply to the respiratory system of the fish. Then after, it can stay underwater and breathe the oxygen dissolved in water. Okay, and the fourth one, its fins helps fish to swim, and the tail fins helps it to change the direction. Okay, this is all about the fish. And now moving forward, that is crocodiles and frogs. Okay, now moving towards the crocodile and frog. So here, crocodiles and frogs. Crocodiles and fish have a skin that is covered with scales. Crocodiles and frogs have features suited to live both on land as well as in the water. Here, first of all, the crocodile and the fish have the same skin, okay, but here the crocodile and frog have the same adaptation, means they can live in both, in water and on land. Okay, they can live in both. How? So here we will just talk about the frog. That frog, when it is in water, it breathes through its skin. but when it is on the land, it breathes through their lungs. Okay, this is one of the adaptation of the frog which we have seen in the previous chapter. The second one, the webbed feet of the frog helps it to swim in water, and its long hind legs helps it to leap around on water. Means here the webbed legs means the picture which is given over here of the frog, you can see a webbed legs means the legs of the what if I say that here you have seen any of the scuba diving. Yes, in that you can see they have a leg, how their long legs are there. In that way they have a webbed legs, okay, from which they can swim easily. Okay, and then after here they have a long hind legs, means the hind legs which are there, they are long, due to which they can move forward by jumping. Okay, then after, the frog has a moist skin through which it can breathe in water and lungs through which it can breathe on land. Thus, it is adapted to living on both land and in water, as I have said earlier. Okay, so here they have just talked about the crocodile and the fish. In that, here you know that the crocodile and the fish have a same skin. Okay, and then also the crocodile and the frog, they can live on both, that is on land and in water. Okay, and how the frog just breathe when it is in water? So they breathe through their skin, and when it is on the land, then it is breathed through the lungs. Okay, and the frog have a web-like structure legs. So what happens? They can move easily in the water or swim easily in the water. And then the next point was their hind legs are long, so they can move easily. Okay, students, on the land. Now moving forward, here talking about the water birds. Here, water birds. Water birds. So first of all, here water birds. Here we have seen in water, which birds you have seen. First of all, when you just go near the land, lake, pond, or any of the other reservoir of water, then you have seen many of the birds which just can live in water. Means they are known as the water birds. Here first talking about the ducks. You have mainly seen in the Gautameshwar Mandir, if you have seen the ducks which are there in the water. So how they just move. Okay, also the swan, it just moves in the water. Here ducks have a webbed feet that helps them to swim in water. Here, as we have seen in the frog have a webbed feet, in the ducks also have a webbed feet. So what, they can just move easily in the water. Now, cranes and herons which live in marshes and wade in water have long legs. Here, the cranes and the other which was there, so they have a long feet. Okay, students, so they can live in, they just live easily in the water. Here it is cranes and herons which live in marshes and wade in water have long legs. Then after, the wings of the penguin have evolved into flipper that helps them to swim. Here you can see the picture of penguin. Their flippers are there. When they just are in land, they are just flippers. But when they are on in the water, what they just use that for swimming in the water. Okay, students. Now, first, moving forward, to the aquatic plants. Here we have seen the aquatic animals. Now moving towards the aquatic plants. Aquatic plants. Okay, so what are the aquatic plants? First of all, means the plants which are there inside the water, they are known as the aquatic plants. Okay, students. Now, in that there are some adaptations. So the first one, that is aquatic plants are of different kinds. Here, plants such as water lily and lotus have their roots fixed to the bottom of the pond, but the leaves and the flowers float on the surface. This plant have long spongy stalk or stem that helps them to stay afloat. Here, talking about the water lily and lotus. So, their roots are fixed at the bottom of any of the river, pond or any of the reservoir. Okay, but their plants and the leaves are on the surface of the water and they can easily float on the water. Okay, the first adaptation is that what the water lily and the lotus roots are at the bottom, but their leaves and the flowers are on the surface of the water. They just float. Okay. So the second one, that is the stomatas are on the upper surface of the leaves. Usually the stomata are found on the undersides of the leaves. Here in the green plants in the water, what happens if the stomata are underside the leaves? Then they can't have enough sunlight over there because there is a water in that. So in water, means in the aquatic plants, the stomata are on the upper surface of the leaves, so can they just have easily sunlight available on them. Okay. Then after, the leaves have a waxy surface from which water just flow or run. So here the other thing, if they just afloat on the water, so what happens? Water, when there is a flowing water, what happens? They just take in the lotus and the water lily with them. But the leaves are so soft that the water can move easily from it. Okay. Then after, the tips of the roots of these plants are protected by root pockets. Here, how the tips of the roots of these plants are protected? So by the root pockets, the roots are protected. Okay. Then after, some aquatic plants such as hydrilla grow completely underwater. They are fixed to the soil at the bottom of the lake or pond with their roots. They have long, narrow, ribbon-like leaves with no pores on them. Here you can see the picture of hydrilla is given. So they just grow inside the water only, down to the soil. Okay. So what happens? They just do not get enough oxygen, so they just absorb the oxygen from the water only. They have some of the adaptation of that. And here you can see in the picture there are a structure of the leaves, how the leaves are there. Then after, some plants have a spongy roots so that the whole plant can stay afloat in water. Water hygiene and duckweed are plants that stay afloat in water. Many of you may have seen small wayside pond completely covered with the hygienic, which has purple flowers. Water hygienic grow so fast that it left under control, it can chop rivers and lakes within a very short time. Here talking about the water hygienic. So they just stay afloat in the water and their growth is so fast that they in few days a full of pond can covered by this plant. Okay students, now here we just complete our video and further we will see in the next video. Okay students, so in your homework what you just do is So, in your homework, write the adaptations of aquatic animals and aquatic plants. The main adaptations of aquatic animals and aquatic plants you have to write down in your homework. Okay, students, means in the aquatic animals, first of all, we just see about the fish. So you have to write any 3 points from that, crocodile and frogs from any 3 points from that, and also the water birds from 3 points from there, and lastly aquatic plants from that also you have to write any of the 3 points. From all this you have to write 3 points. Okay, students, and we will meet in the next video. Okay, bye students.